Hey guys, it's Michaela Clark here with Brave Fitness, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about non-scale victories. So a lot of times when we're trying to lose weight, when we're trying to change our life, we want to step on the scale to see the changes that we've made. It's super hard not to stay away from the scale when you're in weight loss mode because you're just like, oh, I want to see, have I lost anything, So it's hard not to want to see change. So let's talk a little bit about getting away from that mentality and let's focus on things that are more important than the scale and how to use the scale. So let's talk about measurements first. It's very, very important to measure. Some people don't want to measure, they don't want to wear, and they don't want to take pictures because they're super embarrassed of what they look like. But this is something super important when you're trying to get to a new place in your fitness goals. So you need to have a starting point so you can know how far you've come along in your journey. If you don't have any of these things, you won't have anything to go off of, and then you can't celebrate the success that you've had. So what I want you to do is I want you to measure yourself and weigh yourself. I want you to measure your arms, your legs, your hips, your waist, your bust, and then weigh yourself once a week or once a month. And then I want you to write it down. So make a chart or a list and put your weight and measurements, write your weight and measurements down so you can see your progress. I know there are tons of apps out there that you can store them in. I just have them on my phone. So they're right there, it's really convenient, and I can just write them down. The reason this works is because a lot of the times when we step on the scale, we don't see a change, but if you were to measure yourself, you may have lost inches. You can lose inches without losing a single pound. You can also lose pounds without losing inches. It just goes that way. Like, I have a friend and a challenger who just lost 9.5 inches, but really didn't lose that much weight. So if you're only doing one, you may get frustrated because you're not seeing any pounds drop down, but in reality you've lost inches, but you don't even know because you didn't measure. So just remember that. Another great thing to do, which I highly recommend, is to take pictures. I know everyone's embarrassed to take pictures and they don't like to do that and they don't want to see themselves, but you need to take pictures every 30 days. This is going to show your biggest results. You need to take a picture in something revealing, like a bikini or a sports bra and shorts. You need something that's going to show your biggest change and that's going to show as much as you can. You don't have to share these pictures with anyone. They're just for you to see so you can see the change in yourself. We look at ourselves every day in the mirror and not necessarily do we see the change going on. Like, I know even like with my kids, I don't realize how big they've gotten until I go away for a few days and I come back and I see how much they've changed because I'm with them all the time. So the same goes for you. You don't see all those changes in yourself because you see yourself every day. So taking before pictures are a great motivator. It's super important to me because when I don't feel like I've made any progress, I can do a side-by-side of the first picture I ever took and my most current picture, and I can see the change. And I'll sit there sometimes because I'm down on myself and I'm frustrated, I don't think I've made any change, and I'll look at that and I'll be like, well, wow, look at that definition in my arms, or wow, my stomach's gotten a lot flatter. So whenever you're feeling down, you can look at those pictures and realize that, look, you have come a long way. So if you want to share pictures but you don't want to show them in your bikini and you don't want it to be revealing, just take one set of pictures in your bikini or your sports bra for you, and then take another set in like a form-fitting tank top and some shorts. You'll still be able to see change in your pictures, and so just make sure that you have those two sets though, because you want to be able to see the most change. I think you need to weigh and measure once a week or once a month so you can compare and take those pictures. Next thing I want to talk about is non-scale victories. So how do you feel? Have you been writing down your meals? Have you improved on your meals? What's your energy like? Are you running? How far did you run yesterday? How far did you run last week? celebrate those things. Be happy that you can do things that you couldn't do before. Like my father-in-law, he's 57, and he has run like 3 or 4 marathons this last fall. And 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, if you asked him if he was going to be a runner, he would laugh in your face. But he started small. Like literally, he didn't obviously just wake up one day and run a marathon. He would actually run from his house to this bridge, which isn't that far. But then now he's running, 26 miles. So celebrate those little victories. Running 1 mile to running 1.5 miles is a big victory. So if you are logging your food, that's a great thing to celebrate. If you can look back and see the things that you were eating before versus what you're eating now, like maybe a week ago you had a pop every day, but now this week you've only had one. I mean, that's something to celebrate. So keep track of those things and celebrate them. I mean, make sure that you reward yourself for the hard work that you've done. Those non-scale victories help you celebrate when you write them down and you record them, and want you to do even more. So maybe you had pops one a day every day last week, and this week you only had 3. Well, maybe next week you only want to have 1 on Friday. Just keep setting goals for yourself. So I'm going to give you an example. I used to be a huge pop drinker, and looking back now, I felt really gross after drinking them. It just didn't make me feel very good. I would have major headaches, earaches. I couldn't sleep very well. I clenched my jaw, and I even went to a specialist because I thought my ears were the problem, and then I found out that I was clenching my jaw, and so I needed to go to the dentist for that. So I decided to cut back, but I didn't cut back completely, and I just told myself that I'd have 1 pop a day. I was a mom and I deserved it. That was kind of my mentality. And then I kind of realized that that's great that I was cutting back. I wasn't feeling as bad, but I still was having issues. So then one day I just kind of decided that, okay, let's see if it's the pop. Let's try and cut that out really quick. So I stopped drinking pop, and I went through a few days of headaches because obviously I wasn't getting caffeine or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't having ear problems. I wasn't clenching my jaw anymore. I wasn't having headaches as often. So I realized that the pop was causing all my issues. And so I just think, I still have a pop every now and again, but I really think that when I sit down and I decide if I'm going to have a pop or not, sometimes I go through all those symptoms in my head and realize, it's not worth it. But I also celebrate that because it may seem small. Some people don't have a hard time with drinking pop, but I do, and sometimes it's hot outside and I just think, oh, a glass of pop would be so nice. But it's a huge victory to me, and it's something that I celebrate. So recognize and celebrate the little things because they're going to be your motivators. Be proud of yourself and the accomplishments you have. Use those non-scale victories to push yourself farther and to keep going on this journey. I'm super proud of you guys and the progress that you've made. Just keep up your good work. Have a good day and be proud of yourself.